Hello again, a very warm welcome as ever to the programme here on Thursday night. Timing's perfect, we fit so snugly between now and the second semi-final at Euro 2016 with France, Germany tonight. You can watch this show and you won't miss a thing. Right, by coincidence, nobody in this studio this evening is under the height of 6 feet tall. In fact, both of my guests are considerably over that height, and I just about reached the qualification mark. But also by coincidence, if you're a Sheffield United supporter, and even if you're not, you may well have seen film this week of the Blades players in pre-season training doing some boxing, of all things, at the English Institute of Sport. So taking the coincidences further, we have a professional boxer from South Yorkshire in the studio this evening. A warm welcome to
Alan.
Daniel Slaney. Afternoon or evening, I'm not quite sure, but anyway, either qualifies. And we have the assistant manager of Sheffield United, Alan Knill. Good to see you again, Alan.
And you.
Previous time, one evening was something we don't talk about.
Not anymore.
No, it was a keepy-uppy competition somewhere at Rotherham or somewhere like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was embarrassing, wasn't it? I was supposed to be the professional, I was worse.
Yeah.
I'm blaming footwear, though.
You beat me, but as if that's any consolation.
Sorry, I wasn't counting you, Al.
No, you probably weren't. No, James Shield of the Sheffield Star beat you in the keepy-uppy.
He had ridiculous shoes on, though, didn't he?
He did. It was all about the footwear.
Yeah, it was.
We're not going to do that tonight. Well, we will show some of the boxing that the Blades did at the EIS. Did you do any yourself?
No. I just watched. I just watched. Although, in other clubs I've done it and joined in. Yeah, not very good though. No. Yeah, not very good.
What was the thinking behind that?
Just, well, the facility first is an amazing facility, and we have the opportunity to go down. And really, pre-season becomes kind of tedious that you're doing football, and really just something different to break it up. Also, conditioning as well, and we quite like taking the players every now and again out of the comfort zone of being at the training ground, having everything. We'll go and do something different, and it was really good, really good.
Certainly something very, very different. They didn't hit each other though; they were just hitting.
No. And it's funny though. We were saying that when me and Chris were players pre-season, we would have been hitting each other. That would have been the pre-season that you just get in there and hit each other. So yeah, it's changed for the better, I must say.
Yeah. That's a risk not worth taking.
No,
is it really?
No.
When you're trying to bring bodies in, and we'll talk about that. All the usual questions, you can bat them off with the best of them.
Okay,
I'm sure you can, Alan. But I'm going to ask you the questions.
Go on in.
But I won't do it now.
That's all right.
I won't do it now because you tease it first, and then I'm going to come on to Daniel. I met you last weekend at the Reds v Blues charity game.
Up at the Jubilee Sports and Social,
And you played in a big win for the Blues.
I did, yeah. It was a good game. It was a tough 90 minutes, but we enjoyed it. It's always good to kind of raise the profile of any kind of fundraising or charity events and help out where we can.
Yeah, it's very entertaining to watch, and I'm glad they raised a lot of money for Cash for Kids as well.
Yeah.
You are a professional boxer.
I am.
That's you've come late to it. You're 31 years of age now.
I'm 31 now. I turned pro 2011, so I think I was 26 at the time. I'm just, not far beyond my 26th birthday.
That is late, isn't it?
Well, it depends on the weight, I suppose, really. The younger you are, the lighter you are normally when you're turning over. So kind of your featherweights turn over quite young, and the heavier you get, you turn over quite later. But I've been boxing since I was 6, so after it quite a while.
You're a light heavyweight.
I am, yeah. Anywhere around about 12.5, 12.7.
Okay.
When I'm fit.
What about the guy next to you? He's the same height, I think, 6'4".
Yeah,
6'4", yeah.
It should be all right. Shouldn't be too.
Yeah.
He didn't fancy the training. So.
No, not at all.
Next time you do anything like that, get him in.
Yeah.
You can get him into
it'd be good.
coaching.
Yeah, it would be good. Only thing is, we know which side he's from, don't we now?
Yeah.
He's an out.
I'm at the right side, aren't I? So.
Yeah. But you're not altogether a stranger to Sheffield Wednesday supporters, are you? Alan?
No, stepson, and I only found out recently. Wife is as well. She kept it quiet.
You only found out recently?
Yeah, because she's wherever I've worked, that's who she supports. Yeah, but then it came out the other day that stepson's always been Wednesday, and he went, "Well, you are mum, aren't you?" And she went, "I am. I have to tell you, I am."
How on earth did you get married to the lady without knowing that?
At the time, though, it didn't matter to me because I would have been working somewhere else. So I wasn't that bothered, but obviously now it's causing a bit of friction in the household.
It's nice to see she supported him all the way through until he got to the wrong club.
I should have known everything's blue and white, and duvet's blue and white. Everything. I should have known then. But.
Closet Wednesday fan in the house, in the Knill household, folks.
Yeah.
What about that?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Goodness me, I don't think we need to talk about anything else. I think we'll carry on with that subject. But we're all football supporters, and it creates a great buzz and a great atmosphere. What attracted you to the Owls then?
I don't know. I just remember being a young lad, about 5 or 6. When you're first able to kick a ball around, with any ability. I'm lacking in a lot. I just saw at the charity match the other day, but just getting a blue and white shirt on for me from being a young lad was just great, and I've supported him ever since. Dad's a Miller, all sorts of different family members, all sorts of fans of the big clubs. But for me, it was just Wednesday, right back from the Carboni and Di Canio eras. That's when I remember the glory days.
It's getting exciting again now.
Yeah, very much so. It was unbelievable to be at Wembley, and you can ignore the result, and we didn't care about it at kick-off, but it was just absolutely fantastic to be.
I found it amazing the fact that the supporters. I felt really sorry for them because the team didn't turn up. Still in the coach on the way to the stadium by its standards, didn't turn up, and I went away and felt really sorry for my son. Is an Owl. Absolutely. Okay, so I was feeling for him, and it turned out everybody was fine with it.
We were walking out of the grounds, me and a few friends with smiles on their faces. Just the fact that we'd been there and we'd been among 30,000 plus, and the whole fans were quite quiet for 90 minutes. They made it to the Prem, but they were still.
Was Mrs. Knill there?
No, Mrs. Knill wasn't, but stepson was, and as we said before, he said it was unbelievable, and the atmosphere was unbelievable. The best games he's ever been to, just for atmosphere. Obviously, the result didn't go too well. No. But we were saying earlier though, just to be there, was beyond expectation for that season. It was it worked out.
To walk out into the stands, follow the blue and white. It was just an absolute sea of blue and white, and it was amazing.
Well, even seasoned journalists at Wembley who just go routinely several times a season said they'd never seen support like it, and that they didn't have a favouritism to any particular team. They just remarked on it. They were in awe over it. So that is and it is an exciting time. You've got a high standard to live up to, Daniel. After last week's guest gobsmacked me by saying that Wednesday had made an £11.5 million bid for Ross McCormack.
Well, the only thing I can confirm is that I'm definitely not signing this summer. But we've heard all sorts of different names, haven't we? I've heard. Young man that we played on loan at Forest, is it Nelson? Nelson
Oliveira.
Yeah, I've heard.
Seems logical.
Yeah, good player. I mean, what did he bag 9 last season for Forest?
I think he did. Yeah.
With arguably not the best midfield, but
Callum McManaman looks logical to me, being linked to winger, former Wigan
West Brom.
West Brom, who've just signed a winger, so. You'd look at that one as logical, would you? I don't know. It's not your business, really, is it? But I mean, you're looking at it from outside.
It's great.
Well, we were talking earlier. The expectation though this year is massive.
It's Premiership or bust for us, isn't it? We've put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and with Chansiri giving that 2-year kind of deadline to get back into the Premier League, if we don't do it this year, we've kind of gone against what he set out to achieve. So
that was a very bold and quite brave thing to say, wasn't it? That to actually pin a time on it like that. I think it was a statement of intent, really. I think if Wednesday go close, that I don't think anybody would have recriminations with him for that. I just think he's been very bold. And also, the McCormack talk just hasn't been flattened. I mean, lots of people say, including me, hey, that's a bit much. He's 30, coming up 30. But if they are interested, which I'm assuming they are, because it's lingered for so long, you're not going to go in at 5 million if you're being quoted 15, are you?
No. If you want him, you're going to go and pay the price. Or get close to the price. Get close to the price, and he's a good player, isn't he? He's proven. He's proven championship.
Absolutely.
very good footballer.
I've got my thoughts on it, and it'll be in my column. I'll tweet out later tonight my Sheffield Telegraph column, Sheffield Star, and you'll make your own minds up from what I think on that. You're by trade, you're not a boxer.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of fortunate really because I've got 2 full-time jobs. You know, it's difficult to manage, but you know, I'm a teacher at the Dan ALC, little secondary school in Barnsley, which is 1,000 students strong, and then straight home from work every day, and before I go to work out running, straight home into the gym, you know, to get myself in condition to fight.
How on earth do you manage both jobs? Because my wife's a teacher and she works all the hours God sent, so just doing that one job.
My fiance's a teacher as well, and you know, it's difficult to manage, I'm not going to lie, but up early in the morning, out for a nice run, off to work, and then back to the gym in the night. Keeps me busy.
That's full time, isn't it?
That's working, isn't it?
Yeah, that's full time.
That is. You know, we don't work by comparison to what you do there. And also,
I'm not the only one though, so you know, in my defence, I'm not the only one. It's
they couldn't be more different though either. You teach maths, and you're a professional boxer. I mean, there's no connection, is there?
Well, not really, not in subject content, but you know, one kind of keeps my mind very, very occupied, and the other one, my body very, very occupied. So it's nice really, because one's a bit of a respite from the other. Yeah. So you know, I find that quite welcoming really. You know, I welcome it. It's quite nice to be able to say, you know, in the morning I'm going to go and use my head, and then of an evening I'm going to use my body. I get to switch off one from the other.
I bet the kids don't take liberties, do they?
No, absolutely not. They're more supportive than anything else. They're just like, you know, you want to say how are you getting on, when are you training, when are you fighting, can we come and watch? More so than kind of scared. They're not like that. No. And I don't teach that way either. So it's
you couldn't do it anyway, even if you wanted to, because times have changed.
Absolutely, yeah.
Times have
and you wouldn't
changed.
want to anyway.
There's no way you could be.
I'm sure a few of my teachers were boxers.
Or at least tried.
Yeah.
Well, now we've gone a couple of rounds with Alan, so we've softened him up for all the inevitable transfer questions. Now we're going to fire away at him. He knows to expect it. Well, you've got 3 in anyway. So you've got Chris Hussey, Mark Duffy, and this week James Wilson. So that's a fair old start, isn't it?
And the first 2 were really early, so obviously everybody expects a whole load of signings straight away, and ideally we all want that, but it just didn't happen, and it hasn't happened. And I'm going to say as well that the market, you know, you speak to lots of agents, we speak to lots of different managers, the market seems really slow this year, whether it be because, you know, like Euros and everything else is going on, but the market seems really slow. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll hopefully finish off the squad.
Yeah, I believe there might be some good news imminently.
Well, we think we're really close to a couple of players.
2 players?
Yeah, to a couple of players, and obviously you don't like to say anything until it's actually done. So, but we think there'll be something.
The players have agreed?
Yeah, they've agreed. We're hoping over the next couple of days. We go away on Sunday, so before we go away on Sunday, hopefully those players will be in the club.
Okay, you're hoping to announce those. Names?
No, steady now.
No.
Well tried. 10 out of 10 for effort.
I told him I'd ask him, and he was very polite in his response. It wasn't the response I told him he could give me. So, positions?
Central defender and central midfield player.
Right.
I think we all know we're short at centre half.
Yeah.
And
Chris Wilder was in here 2 or 3 weeks ago, specifically looking for a left-sided central midfield player. Is that?
Yeah, left-sided. Yeah, Chris, he just likes that balance. Left-sided centre half, left-sided central midfield player. I've got to say that it's not easy finding, but we've managed to find both really. And
are you going to
we're delighted.
You have a crack at him. So maybe you can ask him. He might answer you.
On.
I'll lean on him later on.
Thanks.
No, to be fair, I hope they don't get anybody, but you know, that's personally speaking.
I'm sure Blades fans will be delighted that the news looks like being very positive for the next 48 hours. So that would give you 5 out of a total of how many ideally?
We're probably looking for another 3.
Another 3 on top?
Yeah, another 3. Obviously, it all depends on outs.
Yeah, I was
out
expecting
as well.
Out as well as in.
Yeah, we think maybe some will leave, which obviously helps us to free up a little bit more.
You've got
money.
people that you would like to move on, obviously, because you released a lot and you transfer listed quite a lot as well, and it's been hard. But there's been a bit of movement on that side of things, hasn't there?
Yeah, there was early movement. Obviously, Hammond's gone, and the others are still there, but obviously the situation hasn't changed. You know, if we get some offers, then they'll be available. But I have to say, they've all been fantastic.
Yeah.
In the 2 weeks we've been back, their attitudes have been great, and you know, like always, the door's never closed. But ideally, you know, we want to free up some money, really.
Yeah, you're going to keep your face very straight now, I know, because one of the names that's consistently mentioned is Carl McFadzean. You know, in terms of wanting a centre half. Chris has admitted that. Yeah,
he's obviously someone that's on a list, and it's quite difficult talking about somebody else who's actually at another football club. So I think it's well documented in it that he's of interest to us, but as of yet, there's no.
He's not one of the two.
No,
not
no
one of the two.
movement.
And Matt Kilgallen, an ex-Blade, has been kind of logically linked as well.
Yeah, I think. Well, I know that Chris has spoken to him, but I'm going to say as well, as of yet, there's nothing definite.
Okay, yeah. Matt Kilgallen is now at Blackburn.
Yeah.
But obviously you know him very well.
Yeah.
Sheffield United supporters know him
Good
very
player.
well. There are players that you'd happily move on, and there are players that you wouldn't want to move on. And there's been a lot of speculation. I know that Chris Wilde has answered questions about it, about two in particular, Shay Adams and Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
What's the position on those? You had offers?
I'm going to say, I think Shay has attracted obviously a lot of attention. Up until you read that, when I was at the ground today, I didn't realise that there was an offer. And
this was in the news before the programme. Yeah.
And I might have left before that came in. But again, you know, we don't want the players to leave, really. You don't want the best players to leave, but obviously there's always a price to anybody. Of course. And again, if the club comes in for the player, it's quite difficult to keep the player as well if it's a big club. Yeah. So both of those factors come into it. With Dominic, is somebody that we know very well. We had him on loan last year at Northampton. And again, there's been some speculation, but as of today, there wasn't anything come in. But
no, it emanated from Merseyside, and it was quite strong.
Yeah, we saw it.
Everton wanted him.
Yeah, we saw it.
I saw the name of the journalist on the story, and he's a very credible, very, very experienced operator. He doesn't guess. So I assumed that there was some interest from Everton.
Yeah, and you know, for both players, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, because they're both talented footballers, and you know, Premier League clubs or Championship clubs are always looking for really good young players. So it wouldn't surprise me. But ideally, you want to keep your best players, but we all know that there's a price that you have to sell.
And they're going to have aspirations as well, aren't they?
And it is that once, you know, a bigger club comes in, you know, it's quite difficult to keep that player.
Of course
but you know,
if you're in League One, if you're in the Championship or the Premier League, and hopefully you can get to that level where this problem doesn't occur so often.
Yeah, that we'll be doing it to other clubs.
Yes. Rather than.
But obviously, the main task this season is to get out of this division.
No, there was some very authoritative speculation in the Sheffield Star today to the effect that Shay Adams had attracted a £1 million offer from a Premier League club. It was unnamed.
Yeah.
And that Sheffield United had turned it down at this stage. Whether it was a starter for 10 or not, I've no idea. On the social media, you get the name Bournemouth keep coming up, but I couldn't say one way or the other on that. I really don't know.
Well, I'm honestly telling you, we've had nothing.
No.
Well, as of today, when I left the football club about 4 o'clock. Yeah.
How closely involved are you personally as assistant manager in the transfer movement?
Yeah, pretty close. Well, very. I suppose between me, Chris, and Carl Scheiber. Obviously, we identify, and then Carl does the contracts. Yeah. So again, you know, ins and outs.
Because you are an experienced manager in your own right. I mean, Sheffield United must have well over 1,000 games between the two of you as manager. But, well, come on to that in the second part of the show. Your background with Chris, how you know Chris, how you want to play this season, how your roles gel, and also your forthcoming fight, because I didn't know tonight you've got a fight coming.
Yeah,
We'll talk boxing as well.
Thank you.
And we will talk Sheffield Wednesday. And James Gregg will be here to round up everything else, including women's football, because I saw a fantastic performance from Sheffield ladies team with a 2-0 victory last weekend. They're in the Women's FA Super League. Do join us in about 5 minutes' time for part 2. Action-packed as ever. See you in 5. See you.